9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
Say his name and he appears. I believe it said.
And with you guys for the past couple of weeks, had some errands and things that just got in the way. But you know what? We here today, and we got a lot to talk about. Well, on the Go Home show for Saturday Night Main Event, we got Evolution happening this weekend. It should be a big weekend, but this did not feel like a big Monday Night Raw. I'm going to be honest. I actually watched it backwards. Some high level moments, some interesting things that they're probably foreshadowing, but not the oomph that I expect from a go home show whatsoever. It was pretty much bookended by Seth Rollins' new faction. And that's how we started open the show. Started with Seth Rollins and his group, Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, Paul Heyman, and a little bit of a curveball here. A little bit of a curveball, not hearing Seth go through his usual spiel, which I'm absolutely tired of. But we heard from the young muscle. We heard from Bronson Reed. We heard from Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker talking about his matchup with Sami Zayn. Bronson about his matchup with Jay. And that, honestly, that promo with Bronson was rough. It was rough. It was pretty much, I hate the way you dress. I hate the way that you walk. I hate the way you talk. All that from Kendrick's Euphoria. He got his point across, though. You know, he hates Sami Zayn. Everything about him. And the mission was clear. They wanted to take out their take out their counterparts so they have a clear path for Seth to cash in. But I mean, that was really the promo, just giving the guys some shine. I was happy to hear them give the guys some shine on the mic, so we're not just hearing Seth talk about his manifesto every single week, drawn out and boring. We know that Seth is in action against LA Knight this weekend, so that was a good way to start off the show. The facial expressions on Rollins and Heyman in the background when Braun was talking made me feel kind of like Evolution vibes. Like, okay, why is this guy taking control here? Who told him to say anything about 2 decades and yada, yada, yada. So that was cool. But outside of that, I mean, another promo segment to start the night. Our first action of the night came from the women's division. We cut backstage and we see that there is I don't know what they call it in Spanish, but like they had like the prayer table or not of the memoriam of Liv Morgan, which was completely out of pocket backstage with the Judgment Day. And I didn't get to tell y'all this last week. I don't know why the New Day got stripped, lost the titles. I don't know why we keep trying to tear Judgment Day down just to come right back to the same place. Now they have all this gold. It feels like they are edging us when it comes to Judgment Day. And it's like they're so shitless scared just to break up the faction. I don't know why we're here again. I don't know why this is a thing where the Judgment Day just keeps having these story arcs to dominate Monday Night Raw just because they're bored to do anything else. But whatever. They have the Liv shrine in the back. Raquel didn't like it. Dom got a cake from AJ. He's still hurt. And now the new tag team champs are trying to figure out their next quest. But our first action tonight came in the women's division. Kairi Sane, Roxanne Perez. Phenomenal match. And I think Roxy is showing like she belongs on the main roster and that she can work with any style. Like Kairi's been on a heater. She's been on a win streak. It's good to see Kairi picking up some wins. I personally miss heel Kairi. The mannerisms, those mannerisms with this current work rate would be awesome if they did it that way. But we saw Kairi pick up the win, roll up Roxanne Perez, but Roxanne looked absolutely strong in this match and looked like an athlete that didn't need the Judgment Day, and she's just there, if I'm being honest. She's put on great matches since she's been called up. So it's kind of disappointing to see her there, but she's kind of earned her first main roster gold by proxy as well. So we'll see how it plays out. But after the match, Kyrie picked up the win, and we see Raquel and Roxanne try to take out Kyrie. And who comes to Kyrie's aid is Asuka. And Asuka made the save for Kyrie, which was dope to see. So we're going to get a Kabuki Warriors reunion at Evolution as they are now inserted into that Fatal 4-Way women's tag team titles, which is great. I love the fact that Asuka always going to slide for Kyrie. I just hope that we fast forward to where we get Asuka versus Io for a title and custody of Kyrie, because Asuka made it very clear that they're not in damage control anymore a couple weeks back during her return, but they both still gonna slide for Kyrie, and I fuck with that. So I hope that we get something involving that trio very soon. But good spot for Asuka. She lost Queen of the Ring, came up short against Jade. So, but you want to keep somebody like that already on the card. We had some more stuff backstage, of course, with Sami Zayn. The promo he was cutting about being banged up but not being scared. Not knowing what to do with Karrion Kross, but saying he's going to get his lick back against Kross. And then the weird stare down between Jackie Redmond and Scarlett's cleavage that happened backstage, if you guys saw that. We did get some other information about the tag team division, and Ivy Niles also in the Battle Royal. It seems like every woman who's not in a key match at Evolution is going to be thrown in the Battle Royal. We did see the Stephanie Vaquera promo. She's going to be in the Battle Royal as well. And we found out that El Grande, Big Grande, going to be in action later tonight as well. Nikki Bella, who kind of got everything turned upside down, is actually in the Battle Royal as well, because she probably was bookended to take on Liv at the show, or at least be in the tag team title match with her sister. Plans got changed when Liv messed up her shoulder. But we're heading towards Sami Zayn versus Bronson Reed. Of course, Karrion Kross lurking in the back. And then we also had the New Day, which I don't think this was on screen, but the New Day actually held a funeral for the death of the tag team division, and they're absolutely right. Flanked by Becky Lynch saying that, yeah, good job ditching Big E. I can't stand that guy. Which, keeping up with the gimmick, I don't know what we're going to do with the New Day now. They can still do phenomenal heel work, be absolutely annoying, but there has to be an end game here. Because right now, it's kind of just treading water. They're not the champion, so they're just there. And naturally, I don't think you're going to have the heels chase after the Judgment Day. So it's like they kind of reset the market at the tag team division there. And I don't know where they fit in. But we still haven't had a draft. We're far past Mania season now, post-Mania season that is, and we're deep in the summer. So I don't know if we're going to get a roster shakeup here. But something has to give there. In that tag team division, because we just had to gift the Judgment Day more titles just to keep the group afloat for whatever the fuck reason. But either way, I digress. We move on to Sami Zayn and Braun Breaker. Karrion Kross attacked Sami Zayn on his way to the entrance and then hit him with the pole again to the ribs. The match itself with Braun was just easy pickings. Braun takes out Sami. He wins via spear. Sami actually ate 3 spears during this match, and then it was announced after the match that he's out of action indefinitely to heal. So we're going to see Sami Zayn probably get his comeuppance in a couple months. I can see him making a return at Clash at the Castle just so we get through the next few months or next few weeks, without actually seeing him in a ring. But I don't know. Sami Zayn, the UF2 underdog from the underground, he's kind of on his own. I think his big trajectory is finally getting a win over the people he can't beat, like Seth. But also, I think we're positioning Sami to be kind of that hero that finally gets the big one in the title. I just don't know when it happens. So this made sense to take Sami out. That was kind of the goal for Seth's faction leading into the night, to get rid of the scraps, because there's going to be big fish coming soon with CM Punk still being in the rear view, and then also the Tribal Chief, which they finally name dropped in the promo earlier in the night with Paul Heyman saying that the Tribal Chief doesn't have balls to come and step to Seth Rollins. So pretty sure we'll see the Tribal Chief here probably by SummerSlam, I'm betting. Becky Lynch came out and cut a promo, put some more tension between Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. Valkyria finally broke the news that, hey, I didn't call Becky, Becky called me. But it still led to some blows between Becky and Lyra, which sets up our stage for the triple threat, which might be match of the night at Evolution, if I'm being honest. Where the crazy thing out of this is Valkyria stood tall over Becky and Bayley at the end of this segment. So we're still positioning Lyra. She's getting the rub from all these characters, the 4 horsewomen that predated her, but she's standing on her own too, doing very well. I don't know how that match goes. I think we'll do our predictions on Friday's show, but that's a toss-up. I can see Becky retaining, and maybe somebody like Kyrie, who's been on a win streak, finally gets a singles title match for the shot, and we kind of play that storyline. Maybe it turns into Bayley versus Lyra fighting for a while because Bayley says she doesn't need any friends, but we'll have to see. But it was a good promo segment from all 3 women, but Bayley pretty much not putting a knife in Lyra's back, pretty much letting her know, like, hey, you raised Becky's hand like a little bitch. That set the hands off. So I think we'll get a nice toss-up match on Sunday between the 3 women. And that's what we need, because I'm actually very disappointed that we didn't see any smoke between Io and Rhea tonight. It's like, that's your big title match. It's supposed to be this big deal that they can choose their opponents, and she chooses Rhea, who's probably the biggest women's star in the show. Io's been your champion since WrestleMania, and it's almost like she don't even go here. I don't know what we're doing with that. They just gave us a package showing that dating back to their earlier years, Rhea has never been able to beat Io. So you didn't do enough to me to tell me that, hey, Rhea's finally going to get this monkey off her back on Sunday. But they've given Evolution little to no build, unfortunately. But the card itself, I hope people show up in droves and at the show and support the card, because the ladies deserve way more than that. So I'm hoping that Io and Rhea is a really good match, even if they can get something going where they're both on SmackDown on Friday before the show, or on Saturday night's main event before Sunday's Evolution. Give me more meat and potatoes. Give me more build. But we go to our next match. Jey Uso taking on Bronson Reed. Jey Uso not feeling any effects from losing the title. Still one of the biggest draws on Monday Night Raw. Still has the fans behind him. But this wasn't really much of a match. Jay got a little bit of upper hand on Bronson, and Bronson chucked him with a chair. Big fan of people throwing weapons at their opponents. That ended the match. Bronson disqualified. He attacks Jay. We get 2 tsunamis. Now, compared to Sammy earlier, who got 3 spears, 2 tsunamis don't feel like nothing, especially since Bronson was talking up at the beginning of the show that he gave Seth Rollins 6. That means Jay should have at least gotten 6, if not like 7 or more. I'm disappointed. 2 tsunamis ain't a tsunami party. So I fully expect Jey Uso to be fine by next week, even though they were kind of selling it. Sammy's out of action indefinitely, but Jay is fine. And maybe that's because they need the cash cow for merchandise on Monday Night Raw. But damn it, you tell me I'm going to get a tsunami party, I better see Bronson's big ass go to the top rope at least 5 times. So I was disappointed in that, but in theory, Seth Rollins' faction took out their ops tonight with Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, and then in our main event, we had Penta and Seth Rollins. Before that main event, Big Grande back in town. Big Grande versus Dragon Lee in a match that was actually a very stellar match. And I mean, if you guys are following the storyline, we know that Chad Gable is hurt. So you guys can't say that Chad Gable is El Grande Americano anymore. Whoever this guy is, I'm here for it. People are saying it's Ludwig Kaiser. I don't know what Kaiser's motivation would be to dress up as El Grande Americano, but it looked like El Grande Americano to me, and especially since El Grande is still undefeated in WWE action. So happy to see Big Grande healthy. Happy to see him still shining as a WWE superstar on the Raw brand. And I thought it was damn impressive when he landed on his feet, when we saw the tightrope blockbuster. Though Big Grande just pulling new shit out of his bag like every month. I feel like we see something classic. And that just shows how this man's been a staying power for the Lucha for generations, if I'm being honest. But no, if it's Ludwig Kaiser, I don't know the motivation behind that. I don't know why he would do that. Doesn't even match his personality or style. But Big Grande, if we do continue on with different El Grande Americanos, being serious for a second, if we do continue on with new Big Grandes going forward, I hope they just get bigger and bigger. So I don't know who backstage ain't doing shit that can dress up in a El Grande Americano costume, but let's just make sure they get like taller and taller. I don't know who's in the chat, but just throw some names out there. I can't think of any big, tall guys right now that's probably not doing anything. Like, I don't know. We can get like Josh Briggs, somebody that size, just come and be Big Grande one night. Let's just keep this party going. But Big Grande undefeated after using the loaded plate for a diving headbutt. His Dragon Lee picks up the win, still undefeated. Then we hear from our champion. Also want to point out that the Karrion Kross train is still very strong, because during that attack on Sami Zayn earlier, the "We Want Kross" chants were deafening. So even though Kross picked up an L, what was that, Night of Champions, I think the fans still want to see Karrion Kross in a major way. So hopefully they pay it forward. It doesn't seem like we're paying it forward that much with the Ron killing stuff, which is disappointing after how much hype it got. But hopefully they pay it forward with both acts, R-Truth as well as Karrion Kross, where they do get some type of meaningful storyline here going into SummerSlam season. We hear from our world champion Gunther, to which Goldberg comes out and lets him know, like, hey, clock's ticking, 5 days. Gunther was going to speak. He knocks the mic out. Gunther tries to go for a strike. Goldberg takes out Gunther with just one punch, sets up for the spear, and Gunther hightails it. And honestly, I get that we have to hype up the fact that this is Goldberg. This is his final match in Atlanta, but what do we gain by making Gunther look like a bitch? Like, what do we gain? I feel like we've done this so many times in the past 6 or more months, and it's just like, what do we gain? Like, we know Gunther is probably the most sound wrestler on the entire roster, hasn't put in a bad match, and completely destroys his opposition. So, like, if they would have did this without me seeing Gunther take a step back in previous months, kind of showing that fear that he showed with Jay in some of his previous matches. Hell, he just got knocked down by CM Punk last week and just stood there and just ate it. So, like, I don't know what we're doing making Gunther be this cowardly person when we know he fights. We know he absolutely destroys people in the ring. I don't get it. And if Goldberg was the first one to bring that out of Gunther, then I'd be like, okay, it's Goldberg, you know? He made Brock Lesnar fear. But, like, I don't understand as a fan how I'm supposed to suspend my reality and be like, okay, the guy that's literally killed so many of his opponents is just like some quivering bitch. All of a sudden, just all of a sudden, I forgot to throw hands. And, like, this geriatric man is making me fear for my life. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know how many minutes this match is going to be. I think we should all set the over-under at 5. And if it is, I think you'll see Goldberg come out with the spear and jackhammer out the gates fast, but Gunther is strong enough to kick out, and he beats the dog shit out of Goldberg in his hometown, packs him up, and that'll be the last time we see Goldberg in a wrestling ring ever. So I'll be very surprised if Goldberg wins this match. Extremely surprised. So I don't expect it. Sindel saying this makes me feel like there's some kind of punishment going on for Gunther. What did he do wrong? Maybe Boza knows. Maybe we scrub the records and see like he did something wrong or said something bad backstage. Because if there was a punishment for him, I don't see why they would put the title back on him unless they feel like taking the belt off Jay by hands of Goldberg was just bad for business from a merchandise standpoint. But doing that to Gunther makes no sense. I can't see him taking a L on Saturday Night Main Event. That would be so wild to me. So wild. Moving on to our main event, Penta and Seth Rollins. I love that Paul Heyman was talking shit to Penta backstage in Spanish. And I love it even more that Braun came in and said, hey, man, I don't even know what y'all saying, but you're going to respect my mans right here. Respect my guy. So that's funny. I hope we get more like little segments like that with Paul Heyman and everybody now that he got 3 people watching his back. But Penta and Seth Rollins, first time ever. Really good match. I like that Penta is getting this type of shine in the main event. He's been one of the best characters on Monday Night Raw since debuting earlier this year. And I know there's big plans for him. My favorite part of this match was the buckle bomb directly into the Destroyer. Just speaks volumes of not only like what Seth can do in the ring, but also like how cold Penta is. And I'm glad we were able to see that in the main event consistently. But also, Seth Rollins picked up the win after delivering a stomp to Penta. It looks like they were going to actually take Penta out the same way they took out Sami Zayn earlier tonight, the same way they took out Jey Uso. But LA Knight made the save. LA Knight took out Seth Rollins before Braun can get to the ring, hitting Seth with a blood force trauma ahead of their match at Saturday Night Main Event. It'll be LA Knight taking on Seth Rollins. They might as well just move LA Knight to Monday Night Raw because there's nothing for him on SmackDown. I don't know why Pierce and Aldis haven't announced some type of trade. I don't know who from SmackDown can come over. Sorry, who from Raw can go over to SmackDown that's not doing anything relevant, but I think it's time to start making some trades and swapping some teams so we have some more balance here. But that was Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw, Seth Rollins being confused, LA Knight hightailing it, doing his thing with the fans and the audience, and we have Saturday Night Main Event, which I believe we're getting Goldberg and Gunther, LA Knight and Seth. I think there's another men's match there. Here, let me pull it up just so I can see real quick. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, if the councilman's echoing that, like the draft not happening yet is kind of hurting the brand. If I'm being brutally honest, like the storylines right now aren't that enticing across all shows. They're not that meaningful. Oh yeah, we also have Drew McIntyre taking on Randy Orton, LA Knight, Seth Rollins, Gunther, Goldberg. That's the card I'm seeing right now, and I'm pretty sure we're going to add at least 2 more matches, if not 1. I think this is the 40th edition of Saturday Night Main Event, so it should be a strong card. Evolution, not that strong, and I think it's because they gave the ladies an unfair build instead of building things leading up to this. Oh, don't do that, Sindel. I love Trish. Why is she front of the line for the SmackDown Women's Division? I think that was actually one of the worst kept secrets is that Trish was going to get picked because they did the Elimination Chamber Trishy Time tag team. But like Trish hasn't been in the picture, but I can see why Tiffany would want that match. So I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad that Trish is getting the shot. I'm mad that there's no build. That's what I'm mad about. There should be a build if you're going to get a Trish Stratus match at Evolution. I don't care what anybody says. When Trish Stratus wrestles, she should be put in some type of spotlight. There should be some type of spotlight where you're showcasing why Trish is actually a threat. Of course, her name recognition alone is like, hey, yeah, I'm Trish Stratus, but there could have been such a dope build and one-upsmanship between Trish and Tiffany Stratton. Rhea versus Io. The storyline makes sense, but it's like it's sour on me because Io hasn't even been on Monday Night Raw, really. She's been in backstage segments. She's might have been in like 1 or 2 matches since winning the title, but nothing where she's featured prominently on the Raw brand like some of her counterparts in women's division, which makes no sense. The Battle Royal, to me, but to get like, of course, you want in the tag team match because that makes absolute sense to put them in there. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see how they structure it some more. I mean, Jordan Grace versus JC Jane should be fun. I'm happy that they're getting the shine on a main event PLE. The tag team match will be fun because we know it's Kabuki Warriors, Charlotte and Alexa, Raquel and Roxanne, and then of course Soul and Zarya. Not really here for Charlotte and Alexa Bliss, but I mean, I can easily see them winning the titles as well. But God, that would be such a bad move if they did that. Number one contenders battle royal. It has to be Stephanie McCoy, right? I can't see anybody else winning that would make sense at SummerSlam who's on a heater like that. Jade Cargill and Naomi. I feel like it has to be Naomi because Jade won at WrestleMania. And then the Becky, Bayley, and Lyra is a complete toss-up. I don't know what's going to happen there. But no, yeah, Maria, Evolution was set up to fail. I feel like they didn't. I can't say they built main event. They didn't really build main event worth a damn either. But it's like the lack of a build, and I think they're getting ready to go on their European tour. So Clash the Castle is going to get a way bigger build. But it's like we didn't even need to have this stop if you weren't going to really put your heart and soul into it with Evolution 2. So I don't know what's going to happen, but it's unfair. If they could have, well, you can't have Saturday night main event on a Sunday, but they're going to be in the same vicinity as a Beyonce concert. So it's like, that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough. Yeah, I don't know. I'm terrified the program is just EO giving Rhea back the title so we can have ass versus ass at SummerSlam. I don't know. I don't think that Rhea wins, but I don't know who costs Rhea the title. I can see a way we get EO versus Asuka at SummerSlam, but even if they don't go that route, if Bianca's healthy enough to compete, I think the real story there is how EO pinned Bianca at WrestleMania and then Bianca wanting her lick back in a singles match because she was supposed to get a singles match the entire time and Rhea just kind of butted in. So I think that would be the bigger story if they go that route. And then maybe if Vaquera does get the number one contenders, if they hold true to what they're doing, if Vaquera wins the number one contenders battle royal, and we're doing this, I can pick who I want to face shit, she need to go face Tiffany because Tiffany's title reign is ass. I'm just gonna say it. It's not good. I think that would help out a lot if you had her star power over there. I know you want her on Raw. Maybe that's how we get there and like we get some type of brand shakeup because like I'm bringing this title over here. EO's title will go over there. I don't know how they got to do it, but they got to figure it out somehow. But either way, you know how we're going to do it here. We're going to support Evolution all the way. We're going to be there for the ladies. If you're in California, I'm pretty sure there'll be some watch parties and watch-alongs. I know Baby Bros Pizza in Long Beach, California. I might be up there watching the show. But we're also going to be doing a watch-along here on WWT to keep you guys locked for everything women's wrestling. I think there was a WWT live early today. If there wasn't, I apologize. We'll try to get one to you guys Wednesday as well as Friday. Life be lifing, y'all. So I ain't been here in a minute, but we're going to make sure we're here because we got a huge week of wrestling to get to. But I appreciate y'all rocking with me for the Monday Night Raw watch along. We were supposed to do one last week, but there were some issues with the computer to log in. We'll make sure that we actually get those watch alongs to you guys for the next for the rest of the summer. I'll try to be here for sure. But until then, y'all, I'll see you guys Wednesday, if not Friday, for obviously our go home show for the weekend. But this has been Monday Night Raw. This has been your Monday Night Raw post show with your mayor, of course. Until next time, of course, this is the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet. Check out my TikTok. Ced is the answer on TikTok, Instagram. I'm posting all my content there. I'm holding true to it. But we'll see you guys next time. Until then, y'all, have a good night. See you.
Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at wwtalkpod. Like and subscribe on all video and audio platforms, like yesterday, my G. And check out our website at wwtalkpod.com. Thanks for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.